Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to disassemble this beautiful, beautiful knife. This is the Notorious EDC Kingpin front flipper, and this is the lefty version. So not only is it a fantastic knife, it's actually a lefty knife. Shout out to Tom at Notorious EDC. I'm going to be doing a review on the front flipper and the slip joint. Probably combine those two just because they're the same model. But I wanted to do this disassembly to show you guys this knife in more detail. I wanted to see if I could get skipperoonies in here. And yeah, it's just so good. I just wanted to keep talking about it because I love the knife, you know. I'm very grateful to Tom. He reached out to me it sounds like on a recommendation from Berg Blade. So thank you to Matt too for giving me a shout there. And Tom sent me the Kingpin slip joint, which is freaking amazing. One of my favorite slip joints instantly. And then this front flipper, and he sent me this lefty one. Now, the slip joints are sold out as far as I can tell, and the front flippers in lefty are sold out. There's a few in this version at the time of filming this, and then one other version on his website. So I will link that down below. I do not have an affiliate link or anything. He did send me these knives, so take that into consideration. But man, they're just so good. It honestly, the other thing I meant to say about that is it seems like he just wants my feedback on it. Just wanted to see what I thought about the knives. You know, considering the slip joints weren't in stock when he sent it to me, and these seem to be limited in quantity. I just think that's really cool, and I appreciate that. And as it turns out, my feedback is, God damn. Just amazing. So this is in Magna Cut. I'm not sure on the HRC, but I believe Riat has been up to 62 to 64 or so. And the only thing that's been a little tricky for me on this is because I'm so used to right-handed knives, I'm not that good with frame lock lefties. So I will put my finger on the lock bar sometimes when I don't mean to. Like I want to do a reach around, and I'll put my finger here, and now I can't reach around it, so I have to kind of back off and then get it, or climb down to the clip. It makes it a little trickier, but that's something I'm learning, and it's kind of fun because I haven't had to deal with that too much. I don't have a ton of lefty knives. I would say this has immediately gone into the top 3. Really, all I have is the Concept Fenrir, which is fantastic. I have, where is it? I have my custom Sparrow Strix lefty. I'm not sure if that counts. And then I have a left-handed Divo knife. I have the lefty Stout V2. Not sure if that really should count because it's my own, you know, design, me and Colin, and it's, you know, our own model. But, you know, I would say the front flipper Kingpin has instantly gone into the top 3, probably the top 2. Right now, it's probably my favorite lefty. I personally like this size better than I like the size of any of these. You know, even though this is a knife under my brand, and I do love it, it's a good size. But for my personal EDC, if I had my druthers, it would be a sub 3-inch blade pretty much all the time. So, yeah. What I'm trying to say is it's quickly becoming my favorite left-handed knife. And one of my favorite just designs. You know, the only thing when it comes to a, you know, top of the heap knife for me is, you know, I like to reverse flick. And you can't get enough room in there to reverse flick it. But it kind of overcomes that by just being so good with the front flipper. And it has this beautiful hollow ground blade. It's so thin. Look at that. Now, I'm a sheep's foot guy, but with a spear point like this, I guess it would be a spear point, right? Maybe a clip point, but has a level tip there. I can get to that pretty easily, and it's very thin. So anyway, let's get into this and see if we can't knock this out. So it's a spinning situation here, Riot build. So you're gonna want something like the finger bit. You can get this at skiffworkshop.com. Might as well pitch the whole crew here because we're gonna be talking about bearings probably. This is the Skiff test fit card. So you can figure out the bearing size and everything, which will probably be important here. I'm guessing it's gonna have the smaller bearings, but we'll see. So with the finger bit, you can put it into the pivot there. My phone does not wanna quit talking right now, sorry. Put it in like that, and then you take your driver on the other side, and now you can loosen your pivot without having to scratch anything. And let's see what we get. This is the pivot side. So I want to be careful not to pull the whole pivot out before I want to. So just push it like that so you can get the screw side. Boom. Yep, looks like a 1/8 size pivot, maybe a 4mm pivot. We'll get into that. I just noticed something really cool, the construction. The screws go through and into the titanium over here, so you do not have any screws on this side, like a barrel situation, which is very normal, very common. Just a little extra touch there from Tom, it seems like. Look at those nice long screws, reminiscent of what you'd see from like Trevor Berger, except his, you can actually see the end of the screw on this side. I'd say I probably prefer the clean lock side, like Tom has it here. So now you just have to take it apart a little differently because of the way the pivot was oriented, and you can get it apart kind of that way, sort of inside out. Maybe we can flip the pivot around so that next time it'll come apart just right off the top, right? If I put the pivot through this side, shouldn't make a difference, but we'll see when we put it back together. So nice little backspacer with a stabilizer pin, really cool. You have titanium, obviously frame lock with a steel insert, and nice milling there to relieve some weight. Look at that, absolutely fantastic. You have the clip mounted internally, nice and sturdy. I don't even think I need to mess with that. Little T6 there. That's because Riot, I believe, insists on T6s when you're doing these sort of inset internal screws because they're worried about the screw head or whatever breaking. So I've heard that many times on these little body screws on the inside. This is a T8 here for the insert. Beautiful. All right, so we're gonna clean it up and then we're gonna swap the bearings because I'm pretty sure this is gonna be a 1/8 pivot with 3/64 ball. And I should have at least one pair of those. I need to get some more, but they're tough to come by. Same size you see from like Jack Wolf and Pena, which I think is where it all originates, because Pena is a mentor for Ben over at Jack Wolf, and I believe Tom as well. Both of those guys seem to give Pena credit for inspiration and guidance and stuff like that, which I think is awesome that he's sort of passing the baton in a way, right? So what I'm going to do is reverse these washers while I'm here, if I can get them out, so we can get a clean side, because that has been used by the bearing essentially. So I'll flip it over and drop it back in. But first, I will put a little bit of KPL in there to assist the washer so it doesn't move, right? And I'll do the same thing on this side while I'm here. Pop it out. Dab, dab, flip over, and drop her back in. And then I'm gonna take this alcohol and I'm gonna clean the lock bar. Always make sure to clean the lock bar because you never know what's on there. Get it off, get it clean. Always a good thing to do in my opinion. And then clean the blade tang. I already did that, but clean that area. It's your best chance of not having lock stick. And then I will push this through. I love that Riot uses a pass-through detent hole. Whoops. Oh, didn't need that anymore. All right. Just to be set up, I'm going to put this through here again so I don't forget which side I wanted. I'm going to put this here. That pin does move, but doesn't matter. The body kind of stabilizes it. Very simple yet, you know, detailed. I really like it. So, this is what we're going to do. We're going to figure out the pivot size. 1/8 pivot size. There's 4 millimeters. See, there's plenty of room there. 1/8 pivot size. And I bet you these balls fall through here. 3/64. Bada bing, bada boom. So my guess on that is that Pena uses that size on his customs or something, because otherwise it's a little bit weird that Riot, a Chinese manufacturer, has 1/8 inch bearings, right? Wouldn't that be weird? Usually, like a lot of US makers use 3/16 bearings, but you know, Chinese companies use 5 millimeter because they're in China. But you'll see some 3/16 knives come out of China because US makers are sending CAD over there. And that is probably precisely why this knife has 1/8 pivot, just like a Jack Wolf or a Pena would. So a little bit of guesswork there, but I think that would be accurate. And maybe Tom will be in the comments and he can tell us what the truth is on that. Because I'm guessing. Because that's what I do, I guess. Just get a little bit of schmutz out of there and clean up the pivot screw, and then we can go ahead and get this puppy on its way back together. I should have mentioned the action was spectacular. There was honestly no need to swap the bearings, but you know me, I like to get into things and make them my own, and you know, get the action with skiffs, basically. The other cool thing with skiffs is the amount of balls you'll get. I'm a broken record with this, but you'll see here on these bearings, there's a lot of spacing between the balls. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 balls in here, okay? So let's get out the skiffs and see how many they have. So I was ready for this. I have 4 millimeter 3/64. Not gonna fit. And I have 1/8 3/64. So let's see. These little guys should drop on there. Look at that. They'll be a little smaller probably, but that's okay. And these have 10 balls, okay? Ball count 10, so she said, maybe. So you're getting 7 here, you're getting 10 here. That's 6 extra balls total in the knife. Right? On a small knife like this, on a small surface like that, and you're getting tighter spacing. So basically you're getting better contact with ceramic, and you're not having those gaps where maybe you could feel a little bit of something in the action. That is why I love skiff bearings. These bearings are good though. They're solid cages. There's no brass stamped ass end. You know, they're nice and smooth. So is it necessary? No. Do you need to spend your time and money doing it? No. If you're a nerd like me, is it worth it? Hells yeah, it is. And if you go over to Skiff Bearing or skiffworkshop.com, you can use my code LeftyEDC and you can get 10% off your order. So keep that in mind. And that'll work on the finger bit, the Skiff test fit card, all bearings, anything on the Skiff Workshop site. Internal stop pin, which is dope. Oh yeah, I'll do it after. Cool. I forgot it's left-handed. Jeez, that's why I felt like stuff was backwards. That's funny. All right. put this here. Take a little bit of KPL heavy for the detent track. That's what I thought I forgot. Just a little dab there. And now we're ready. So yeah, Skiff was out of these, I think. You could check on Jack Wolf's website. They actually sell these for their locking knives. And they might have this size in stock. So check that. I noticed that they weren't showing up when I went to their drop down. You have to go to the search and actually search for bearings, and then they'll come up. And I saw they were in stock just the other day. So if for whatever reason you need this size bearing for a Jack Wolf or this knife or whatever, sometimes Jack Wolf has them in stock. So keep that in mind. So now we have the blade or the pivot going the other way. And I guess it really doesn't make a difference. It's still going to make it where you have to unscrew from one side and pop it off from the other side. It's, you know, just the construction, which is fine. It's not like a big deal. I think it has more to do with the fact that the screws are only on one side. Look at that. Perfectly centered. We'll see how tight we are. That's what she said, but let's take a look. No play, no rock of any kind. Let's see. No stick. Drops pretty free. Snappy. Yeah. And that's gonna break in better and better. I don't really want to loosen it. So let me loosen it and see which side is this. Okay. I just want to see how tight I was there and double check it. So it's pretty tight, perfectly centered, snappy, no play, no rock. Great drop. I could probably go even tighter, but what I'm trying to gauge is where I'm going to leave it. Yeah, I could go a little tighter. I mean, the action's smooth as hell either way. It's a lot smoother, I will say that. Not that it wasn't smooth before, it's just smoother. It's hard to explain. Like, is it necessary? No. Would it be nice? Hell yeah. But it might not be worth the effort for some people when the knife comes fantastic out of the box. So now I'm going to do what a lot of people are going to scoff at. I'm going to use super glue. If you use a small amount, you can use it on a knife this small. Just, you know, use a small amount. Don't go crazy. And you got to be sure when you're tightening the pivot, you got to be sure that you get it where you want it quickly, because it will cure quick. Oh my God, it's perfect. This is why I love Riot. They absolutely destroy building knives. They're the kings of knives that you can take apart and put back together, and they always go back together the exact same way. That is what I love about Riot knives. It's the biggest selling point I can give an OEM, other than flawless execution, which is another thing Riot excels at, right? But their biggest attribute, in my opinion, is you can take the knife apart and you can put the knife back together, and the knife will be centered. The action will be just as good or better, depending on what you did inside, and nothing feels wrong or weird. You're not sitting there for an hour trying to, you know, tweak shit. That's why I love Riot. Look at that. This knife from Notorious EDC is one of my favorite new knives in a long time. Tom, you killed it, dude. I'm blown away by this knife. And you know what's funny? I think I like the slip joint even more. So, hell yeah, dude. 2 thumbs up for me. But anyway, there it is, guys. Skiff bearing swap and a little ranting on the Notorious EDC Kingpin front flipper. And yeah, I love it. That's all I can say. Check out skiffworkshop.com. Use my code LeftyEDC. I'll put a link to Notorious EDC as well. And I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.